Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I want to share with you my growing experience in the Aerogarden Harvest for Golden Harvest tomatoes. These are the seed pods that you can get directly from AeroGrow, and that's what I did. And this is going to be a long process, but I just wanted to chronicle the experience and share it with you. So I'm not starting at the very beginning. As you can see, this is day 8 right now, and I planted 3 of these golden harvest tomato plants. That might be a little bit of an overkill. I probably should have only planted 2, but I planted 3. And within that period of time, you can see that they have all sprouted, and they're getting closer to the point where I'm going to have to thin them out. It looks like there's 2 or 3 seeds that were in each pod and they all germinated and sprouted, so we're going to have to choose the best one and then clip the others. And so I just put aluminum foil on top of the other holes in order to block the light to prevent the growth of algae. And I'm just going to be feeding these every couple of weeks, so it's going to be a long process, but this is how they look a little over 1 week in. And as they grow and as cool things happen, I'll share with you everything that happens. So stay tuned for the next clip. It's now day 10 of the growth on these harvest tomatoes, and let's see the progress here. So as you can see, they've gotten a little bit taller since the last time that we've looked at them, but it's time to start thinning these out. So I'm going to have only 1 plant per pod. So you see there's 3 growing there. I'm going to get rid of 2. Down here there are 3, possibly 4. There's something way down there, I think, that I'm going to get rid of. And then there's 3 over here, and I'm going to get rid of 2 of those. So let's get snipping. It is day 25 of this Aerogarden tomato grow, and a lot has changed. Let's take a look. So our little tomatoes are all grown up. Still got a long way to go though. So since that last video, the only thing that I did was took the little smaller plants out of each pod and left only the biggest and the strongest. And they have been growing every day. Every morning I come in here and I see more and more growth from them. Now in retrospect, maybe it would have been a better idea to just plant 2 of these tomato plants instead of 3. Maybe had one like right over here and then just kept one over there, but whatever, it's done now. So everything has been going pretty good with these plants. They've been drinking water pretty good. I've had to refill it a couple of times before I got too low, but I think at this point in time I'm going to raise up these lights just a little bit. So this will be the first time that I raise the lights up. So yeah, that's the progress so far, and I'll come back when something more significant happens. So now it's day 33, and I think these plants are looking pretty good, I should say. Now, one new thing is that these little flower buds have started to appear. So you can kind of see one little flower bud right there, and they're all over the place. That one is just one of the biggest ones, but you can see there's some right there. And then coming over, here's some more little flower buds there. I mean, they're all over. There's some kind of down here a bit. So it's really coming along. Really, the only thing that I really changed with this is that since we're on day 33, I emptied out the water and I put fresh distilled water in there and put some more nutrients in there. The roots are looking good. They're nice and bright and white, so they're looking healthy. But yeah, we're coming along. Looking forward to these flowers opening up. And then within the next handful of weeks, some tomatoes. It's day 41, and we have a pretty significant update. So I've gotten my very first little baby tomato, and let's see if you see it right there. So we got a little baby tomato coming in, and then if we get low, we can see another one right here. So you can see both of them in this shot. One in the back and one in the front. And we have all these other little flowers here that I've been pollinating with the little vibrating toothbrush. So yeah, very exciting. Two little tomatoes that I can see. And the rest of the plant looks very good. Looks quite healthy. I have not raised the light all that much. And I haven't pruned anything. So as of right now, they're starting to bear fruit and it's remaining relatively low in the Aerogarden. And there's 3 plants in here. So hopefully things can continue to go well. So now we're on day 43 and it's something that I want to show you guys. So some of these leaves, as you can see, are starting to yellow. They're in somewhat random positions, but they're on all the plants. You see a little bit back there, and you can see some over here as well. Now the tomatoes are still coming in, and they are getting bigger with each passing day. But I want to address the yellowing on these leaves, which I think is due to a nutrient deficiency. Because I think that most people, when they have an AeroGarden, they put 2 capfuls of the AeroGarden nutrients in the reservoir every 2 weeks. But when it comes to these tomato plants, I just don't think that that's nearly enough. So what I did was I went out, I bought one of these meters. Now this is going to test the ppm levels inside the reservoir, and it's going to give me a reading that will tell me whether or not there's enough nutrients going on in here. So all I have to do is turn it on. You see it reads at 0. I'm going to stick it down in the reservoir and see what reading we get. So as you can kind of see right there, 468 ppm. And based on my research, it's supposed to be somewhere between 1500 and 3500. So that tells me that the 2 capfuls of nutrients is not enough to sustain these tomato plants in an AeroGarden, especially not 3 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more nutrients to this reservoir and try to get it up to a more appropriate level. So I just added more nutrients to the reservoir and it's now reading at 1425. I don't know exactly how many more capfuls I put in there. I mean, honestly, I just started to just pour the nutrients little by little into the reservoir, and then I kept checking it until I got above 1400. So if all goes well, it should help these plants to get revitalized and hopefully do away with the yellowing that's starting to spread all around all of the plants. So this is just a little experiment. Hopefully I don't end up killing everything, but if I see some negative results, then I'll just empty out all the water, put some fresh water in there and just kind of start over, but we'll see what happens. So now it's day 50. It's been 7 days since I added all of those nutrients to the reservoir, and let's see how these plants are doing. Now I've been gone for about 3 to 4 days, so I haven't been able to check up on them since then, but as you can see here, it looks like that yellowing of the leaves hasn't spread. You see, like way back there is what I showed you before. But since adding all those nutrients, there's a lot of extra growth. It's become a lot more bushy, and these tomatoes are continuing to crop up. I've been pollinating the newly opened flowers a couple times a day, and we've got quite a few tomatoes. Last time I counted about 20 of them in various stages of growth. So that's some of the older growth down there. I've done some light pruning to get rid of like old dead leaves like that, and even some growth that comes out a little bit too far. Like for example, like if I wanted to, I could prune this right here. But I also do have this light, so I can just turn that on and give it light that way. But you see that there's some bunches of tomatoes that are going to be forming up right there. There's some more in the back. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. So my conclusion is that giving it all those nutrients actually helped it out since we have this new growth here. So yeah, feeling pretty good about that. Now is day 60, And this is the day where I'm going to empty out this water and clean out the reservoir a little bit and then refill it with fresh water and fresh nutrients. But you can see that we have got so many tomatoes growing. Last time I counted, it was at least 60 of these at various stages of growth, and looks like they're doing pretty good. Very, very bushy and looking like way deep down in there. You probably can't see them, but there are some tomatoes like buried deep in there. But yeah, it looks good. It looks very good. Probably gonna do a little bit of light pruning as well. You see like this one is stretched all the way out here. So I'm probably gonna cut back some of the foliage, but gotta change this water and add more nutrients. So now it's day 64 and the growth continues. I did a little bit of light pruning, but it just grows right back. And the tomatoes are getting bigger. There's some new flower buds that are popping up. I'm going to have to move that light up. But I did notice a problem that I want to address, and it is with something called bottom end rot. You can probably see it underneath those two little tomatoes there. It's like the little black circle that's forming on the bottom where the flower blossom used to be. And I've seen these on a few smaller tomatoes that have fallen off. And I did some research, and they said that is due to possibly a calcium deficiency. The bigger tomatoes, some of the older ones, they don't have that problem, but some of the newer ones are developing that problem. So I did a little bit of research, and I went to Amazon and I picked up this CalMag Plus. It's a calcium, magnesium, and iron supplement. And you add this to the reservoir according to how much water you have, or how much water capacity the tank has, and the state of your plants, like how far along they are. So since the Aerogarden holds about 0.7 or so gallons of water, and these plants are in the fruiting stage, I am going to add about 3 milliliters, give or take, of this solution. It's going to be less than a tablespoon or less than a teaspoon of this solution. And I'm just going to add it right into the reservoir. So that's it, easy peasy. The instructions say to add more to the water as needed. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. And I don't think that you can reverse the blossom end rot, but hopefully it'll prevent new and existing tomatoes from experiencing that as well. So it sucks that this happens, but it does happen. So if it does happen to you, then hey, you know what to do about it. Hopefully it works. So we'll see you in the next update. It's day 69. Let's take a look at these tomatoes. There is one major update in that I have one tomato that is almost fully ripened. It's the only one on these 3 plants that I've seen that has started to ripen. Look at that. Nice and golden. It is almost there. Here's some of the others. Now, one thing that I noticed when I came in here this morning is that overnight, this plant had basically kind of fallen and was tilting and was kind of just really hanging over the side, and it brought this one with it. So basically what I did is I just kind of tried to push it back down inside of its pod to try to get it to stand up. This one is doing okay, but this one was really bad. So what I did was I took stuff that I already had. This is bonsai wire for bonsai trees, and you use this in bonsai to get the branches to grow in the direction that you want them to grow, kind of like this here. So what I did was I took the wire, kind of wrapped it around the base, and basically just pulled it back and wrapped it around here to get it to stand up. So work with the tools that you got. You should be okay. But all the other tomatoes are looking pretty good. I haven't seen any more of that blossom end rot besides the ones that already had it. And then we are also getting some more flowers. Some more smaller baby tomatoes are starting to come in. And you see like there are some more flowers right there. So the growing continues. So hopefully we can get more of these to ripen pretty soon. Day 71. And I've been keeping my eye on this tomato right here just to see if it was gonna, I don't know, get more golden or whatever, but I don't think it is. So this is going to be the first one that we taste, and we're going to do that today. And it looks like maybe that one might be starting to ripen a little bit. Maybe, maybe. But for now, let's pluck this one, give it a taste. Came off pretty easily. Look at that. Man, isn't that pretty? Just golden in color. I mean, this is what it was all about. 71 days. Let's cut it open. All right, you see that? Looks pretty juicy, doesn't it? All right, let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Tastes nice and juicy. Tastes fresh. It's good stuff. So now we just gotta wait for these other tomatoes to ripen, and hopefully they can be like this one. It's now day 80, and here are the tomatoes. We have a lot more of these tomatoes ripening. It took them a while to get started, but once that first one got out of the way, I've been seeing more and more ripen every day and begin to ripen. And the growth is also continuing as well. Look at that, way back there. I didn't even realize that that branch had went out that far. You see, like it's already grown a pretty decent sized tomato. So we've got also more flowers coming along. We see some flowers right there. We got some flowers in the back, like right over there. And that's just what they're going to do now. So after these 80 days, I think I'm just going to wrap it up here. So this is what I've gotten. You've been able to see all the trials and tribulations that I've gone through trying to grow these tomatoes. 3 of them in an Aerogarden Harvest, which I know is not recommended, but you can see plainly here it's possible. You might have more problems than you would if you would only do 1 or 2, but this is proof that it is possible. So thank you everybody for checking out this long journey with me growing these 3 tomato plants in the Aerogarden Harvest, and I hope you give it a shot in your Aerogarden or other hydroponic system as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jeremy. Talk to you later.